Hey folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into part 3 of my Lord of the Rings collection. And we'll go ahead and continue on, and we have here a Mount Doom Sam. Much like the Mount Doom Frodo, the gimmick is limited to the base.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you!
And this Sam one actually has several phrases as opposed to Frodo, who only has one phrase.
Throw it in the fire! I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you!
And as you can see here, he's superposable as well. He has 29 points of articulation. And just like Sam, he has, just like Frodo, he has double hinged elbows, double hinged knees, hinged, probably swivel feet and ankles. And does he have a... Yeah, he has a hinge in it at the neck as well. So he's fairly articulated. And I love the weathering of effect on the face sculpt of Sam there. And he has Sting, which he carries, I believe, from the Fellowship on there. And we have here another bendy Smeagol, and it has that base as well. And yeah, this one is just like the Half Moon packaging Smeagol there. It's just repackaged in Trilogy Edition. We have here, take a look, we have Sam in Goblin armor. And like the Frodo in Goblin armor, Gerhawk has a video of this one as well. And I believe he's fairly articulated. I don't think he has a gimmick on here. I could be wrong. But I don't think it hinders the posability and articulation of this guy. And he does have an orc sword and Sting on there as well. And I like the likeness to the actor on this one. It's very nice. And looks like I had more than one. Here is the original Fellowship of the Ring, the first release of Sam. On here, he comes with a diorama base as well. The orc door when they were in the, I think it's Balin's tomb on there. And he even has his frying pan, which is very nice. Unfortunately, he's not very articulated, and his posability is limited on there. But he does have this nice base, interactive base as well. A goblin head pokes its head through the door. It's kind of neat. But this is the first release of Sam. And then we have another Sam called Sam in Mordor. And this one is better articulated on there, and except for the ankles, they're still not articulated at the ankles, and part in the dust there. He does come with this base that he can hang off of using, I believe, the elven rope on there. Is kind of neat, with rope climbing action. I guess that's the gimmick for this figure set. Thankfully it's not on the figure. It looks like it's on the base on there. It's decent rendition of Sean Astin there. Pretty neat. Looks like we're on to the Nazgul here. I have here a Twilight Ring Wraith with sword jabbing action. So there's a gimmick to that. It may limit the articulation of this guy here, but it's still a decently painted figure. On there. It's very neat. I really like it. You can see some articulation at the joints at the elbow on there, and he has a sword and a dagger. I got this guy for $10 back then. And it looks like you squeeze his legs to activate the gimmick, so the articulation is probably, no, it looks like he has some joints at the knees. I don't know if you can see it in there. But he does have joints at the knees, so probably just at the hips, or it's kind of limited. He has joints at the ankles as well. So I think it's a fairly neat version of a ring wraith. You really don't see this except for that one scene in the movie. So it's kind of cool that you can actually see a former king of man there. Next thing we have here is the Witch King ring wraith from the Fellowship of the Ring line. And I believe Gerhawk has a video of that as well. So go ahead and take a look at his video on here. I don't have this guy loose, so I can't tell you what the gimmick is. I think it might be a button, yeah, on the back of him. It's probably hidden beneath the cloak. And I think Gerhawk goes into that on his video. So take a peek at that video. It's still pretty decent. We have here just a trilogy edition of the ring wraith. Probably the same features and everything. And then I have a packaged Morgul Lord Witch King on here, and you saw that in part 1. I had a loose version of that figure. And on to the next pile here, we have some elves. And we have Galadriel, a Lady of Light here. It's decent sculpt, not quite likeness to the actress on there. It comes with a picture. I think that's about it. It has some cloth goods part to her robe, which is kind of nice. She doesn't look like she has articulation at the ankles on there. She has articulated knees from what I could see beneath. And her action gimmick is an authentic costume. So thankfully nothing to impede posability, although she's kind of restricted on her articulation anyways. It doesn't even look like she has any articulation at the elbow, which is unfortunate on there. And I had a trilogy edition version of her as well. That's pretty much the same. And this one here is Galadriel Entranced, and this one I picked up recently in the last several months through Big Bad Toy Store. They had a sale going on this one. And taking a look at her, I think she has a sound gimmick on there, or a light up gimmick, I don't know, because there are some batteries that are included with this figure, and I don't know what the gimmick might be on there. Doesn't look too much impeding the figure. She has looks like a hinged elbows and hinged shoulders as well, so it's not too bad. And she looks like she's made of a combination of soft translucent plastic, at least for her costume. I'll have to open up this figure sometime soon. But it's fairly nice. Next we have here Arwen with a light up Evan star. And I believe this is the same figure as from the Horse and Rider set, because I believe this is the only time outside of the Horse and Rider set that she was released. And if that's the case, I believe her legs may be rubbery or severely limited on her articulation in her legs, much like the Aragorn one. She does have, looks like hinged elbows. You can see the swivel shoulders there, so she's probably got a gimmick on there for the sword action. Looks like the button lights up the Evan star, but I guess there isn't any action for the arms. But the arms, you could see there's no hinge on the arms there. And she looks like she has cloth good lower costume there. So, interesting. Now we have here a Gil-galad who never appeared in the Fellowship of the Ring packaging. Just direct from the trilogy edition. He comes with this nice shield and a nice spear on there. There's a button behind the figure here, and yeah, you can see it. and this one looks like it sticks out quite a bit, which kind of sucks on there. And the face sculpt, I'm not a fan of open mouth figures, especially this type of expression on their face, because it looks like they're shitting a brick or something. I don't know. But it's nicely sculpted. I just really don't like that head sculpt. I wish they would not include those open mouth head sculpts on there. Can't tell on the arms. It doesn't look like it's hinged on the shoulders there. Looks like it's got hinged knees, but nicely sculpted. But I think the action gimmicks on this guy limits this posability on this one. On to here, another elf. We have the Prologue Elven Warrior, which is nicely detailed as well. And this one has a button on the back of the figure to push the sword slashing action. Excuse me, I have a message. Pardon that there. But he does have hinged shoulders, so it looks like it goes in and out and all the way around, probably on a ratchet joint. So, and I'm not sure about the feet. The feet look like they're hinged at the ankles. I can't see in the knees, but it's very nicely detailed. And as you can see, I have two of these guys, and you got a nice shield. Looks like a bow and a sword, and the bow does not have a gimmick other than you pulling it back, not the figure. So that's nice. It's much better than the Helm's Deep Elven Warrior on there, and it looks like I got that guy for $6 back then. And on to every female favorite's elf here, Legolas. We have this one here is Helm's Deep Legolas with the most hated scene for me in all of 3 movies is shield skating gimmick. I guess that's his gimmick here. He surfs on this orc shield. I just hated that scene in that movie. And this guy looks fairly articulated. Hopefully that's his only gimmick. Yeah, even the bow firing is manual. It's not through the figure, which is kind of neat. And doesn't look like he has a button on there, which is nice. So you can probably get this guy posed nicely. The only problem I have with this figure is the head. It's the head and neck are one single sculpt, so most likely the articulation is around the base of the neck on there. He comes with some accessories on here. So, and there's that swoony likeness to what's his face? I can't remember his name. The guy from the Pirates movie. I forget. It's not in my head at the moment. This here is the Fellowship of the Ring Legolas, and Gerhawk has a video of this guy as well. Pardon the dust there. And I think he has a gimmick with his knife pulling action from the sheaths in the back there. You can't see it too well on the dust there. And he doesn't have a bow firing. Yeah, you manually pull back the bow. Yeah, and here it's dagger slashing action on there. And take a look at Gerhawk's video. He goes into the articulation of that guy. And this one's another Helm's Deep Legolas with the shield skateboard. They even say skateboard. God damn. Excuse me. We have here Legolas with Rohan armor. This one does not look like Rohan armor to me. Looks like Mirkwood armor. I don't see any Rohan armor, so I'm not sure why they called this one Rohan armor. I can see... I'm wondering if Legolas, all of the Legolas figures have this joined neck sculpt on the head, which would be unfortunate. He does have some hinged, looks like elbows there, and a hinged shoulder. So this guy's probably decently posable other than his head. Well, it probably poses, but... and it looks like I'm running out of time, so I I think this is part 3. This is the end of part 3. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next part.